make any sense. It's extremely flat, wide road straight down. There's at least 5, there's probably more that I didn't see at the beginning. You know, why do no trees grow down the strip? Or why are they not allowed to grow down the strip? I mean, the trees that are on here don't look particularly old, to be perfectly honest. The trees that are do look quite old, they're in pretty rough. I've had a tough time, I would suggest. I mean, no one's been here, shouldn't these trees be, shouldn't this be old as? Unless it was completely, well, it's probably, maybe it was cleared and then things allowed to grow back. I mean, most of them are olive trees up there. Where's the rest of the native trees? Where's all the rest of the gum trees? What happened to them all? Were they even on here? They just plant these ones just to cover up the giant, you know, pyramid-esque structures that were also once the roots of an incredibly massive and spectacular ancient megalithic tree. I don't know, you tell me. Oh, the wind just told me I was right, so it's both things, thank you. Yeah, there should be scrub, like thick scrub, like proper bush scrub. Even like you see a deep creek or something like that, perhaps might be the best example, but this springs to mind. It's not like that though. You know, and there's fresh water runs through the middle of this. So, you know, perhaps it was cleared and it was used for olives and that. And almonds. We used to have a lot of almonds around the place still. I think that those purplish ones up there, I think they're almond trees. The sun came up from there, and it's going down over there. So this whole bit, for example, would get all the sun in the afternoon. This bit I'm looking at, that should be just, yeah, we got a big runway looking thing down the middle. That's what they look like. They are. Look like they're some sort of ancient, old school runways of landing strips, or it's. You can see that's wood. Right? Like I keep on saying. I mean, it looks like there's concrete there as well. To be quiet, it looks like rings of a tree, right? But it also looks like the stone is like concrete, or it turns to concrete. Or isn't concrete lime? I don't know, I saw something recently about the life cycle of lime and concrete. They just alternate each other. Not that clarifies anything for me, because I don't know shit about lime. And I don't know much more about concrete, do we? But yeah, that's not old fauna over there. Anywhere around here. Especially over there. Come to think of it, none of the Halloran Hill Conservation Park, where I spent a lot of time, and big parts of that are so freaking unnatural feeling. It's visceral, you know. So, and now I think of it, that entire bit that should have massive trees on it, but it doesn't. None of it does. So why were they all bare not that long ago? And they just we cut all the trees down because we pillaged the entire, raped and pillaged the entire land. Quite likely. Stripped for farming land and then took all the, nutrients out of the soil, did it in a shitty, misunderstood way, and just left arid mounds and moved on to the next. That's probably what's going on. It's kind of what you see going on around the place. Without ignorance or otherwise, I don't know. Without it, no need or, I don't know. So whatever happened on it beforehand, before the current lot came over and fraudulently claimed everything as a barren wasteland, claimed it as their own, started charging everyone and treating everyone like slaves that followed them here, and let alone with the ones that were already here. Let's not get into that. But, so whatever happened before they came here and bullshitted their way into power, or perceived, whatever happened way back, whatever happened in the old world, we'll say, made it such that you couldn't grow anything on these strips. So it was to do with, there's a lot of places like, it looks like things just, there's perfect lines where things just do not grow. It's an energetic thing. It's a, it's a magnetism type. It's a It's just another thing that we don't have a fucking clue about. Speaking for myself. And I don't know how many are even. I'm only just considering it recently, so I can't talk. I can talk, but you know what I mean. Hello, how's a little parakeet? So low. As they do. I have to have my monitor at a dicky 90 degree angle plus a 90 degree twist, and so it's going to take some getting used to. Let's see what the hell I'm doing. But yeah, there's another one of those paths over there. Runway strips. I'm thinking it. I'm feeling it. It's something to do with, it's not very obvious, but something to do with water. Right? Because you've got the sturt, what would have been the river, which would have been quite incredible before the dam was put there. That dam probably wasn't put there. I don't know that it was necessarily put there by our lot of shamsters. You could have been water, coming straight down these, right? So you had from the top of the hill, so from Flaggy, and there's Flags, there's Happy Valley Reservoirs just over there. There's a lot of, you're not allowed in there for some reason. Right, you're allowed in the other reservoirs, but you can see on the maps there's a shitload going on in and around Happy Valley Reservoir. I think it links all the way to Stanvac and the desal plant, which was a cunning rouge for whatever the fuck's really going on. But so it would have been water, right? Water would have come down these. That's what this would have been like. I'm thinking like a massive power plant, right, with water, which makes perfect sense because the star fort type structure I've been referring to and I've showed that I think may be it, or something on those lines, is just over there. You know, also at the bottom of what would have been the old giant roots of the tree, which also might have then become part of it. It's a power plant. I've got a photo I need to pull out and show. It's been on my mind for a long time. It's called the Torrens Lake. It's the Torrens River, you know, where the Botanic Gardens is in the city, and it's in 1860 something or 70 something, and there is a jet of water shooting out the top, clear as, shooting out the top like a geyser, right? But like, looks quite a thin mist. It looks extremely controlled and through a manicured area. It's shooting what looks like about 40 metres up in the air, maybe more, whatever that is, 150 feet or something. Now to do that, you got to have pumps, like pneumatic pumps, or you got to have a way of compressing the water to put it under pressure at the very, to shoot it up like a giant fountain, like whoosh. Now you don't see that. You know, you might see, it looks like what you see coming out of a fire hose, right? Because I've been looking at that a number of times, and I've spoken to some people and been like, how are we doing that in 1860 something, right? Well, there might have been a heck of a lot of power water driven, and this is say part of it, right? Makes a lot of, instead of they want to just sell people electricity, right? Well, we were generating our own. There would have been these systems with water. There was clearly a lot of atmospheric harvesting of ions, I suspect, going on. The telegraph system here was bustling for long before there was the overland telecast. So there was an infrastructure. Hello. Right, it's carrying on for my own mental documentation thoughts. Right, so just before I forget to say, this is part of like a giant hydroelectric plant, for example, something along those lines, right? You got these big things coming down. Then they're all coming down straight, big wide. They're all wide as. With water shooting down, right? Each of them. There's like 5 or 6, right? But there's probably more. I could see 5 from up there. I think there's one I couldn't see. It's at least half a dozen. There's probably more. They're all coming straight down, straight and wide, right? Channeling the water down. There's a dam. You can follow that all the way around and up. There's quite an impressive dam blocking the Sturt, damming the Sturt River and making it the Sturt Creek, which is what I just walked on. But that's why these are just flat, wide, straight, water picking up speed, gravity, fire. That's what it is. You got Happy Valley Reservoir, just not a stone's throw, but a big stone's throw, but not really. It's probably not more than 500 to 1,000 metres, like not more than a K, I would say that way. And it's pretty big, massive reservoir, right? Probably the bit where the trunk of the tree, well, clearly the trunk of the tree went into the ground and it's, no longer there, like you often see when you see a stump sticking out. These are the roots. Happy Valley Reservoir, and basically all the way to Port Stanback, Shido Park, to the edge of it, to Hallett Cove. Hallett Cove was more of the root structure, as you can see. I mean, who knows, it probably went over the Kangaroo Island. Yeah, realistically, that port there, as in Port Stanback, which they don't allegedly or officially no longer use, deepest seaport in the southern hemisphere. Right, when the refinery was there, my man used to work there. It was a long jetty wharf, huge wharf. Big oil tankers they couldn't bring them into anywhere else. It's that deep. Right, they would bring them in there. Fishing was incredible. It would the sinkers, the line would go for so long. Right, so it's massive, right? Oh, apparently we don't know. They ripped the freaking wharf down. Right, the deepest port in the southern hemisphere. They took the wharf away, so they're up to, there's no doubt underwater access to some base or some bloody system under there, whatever. What I'm saying is, the trunk of the tree was probably that, right? Bits of the roots of where it comes down Ocean Boulevard, down to like Merino, Sea Cliff, basically over there, like you see here. But the actual tree trunk was over there, Happy Valley Reservoir. And my point is, there's a giant reservoir of water. There's probably a system that no doubt goes all the way to Port Stanback and wherever. So that was there, full of water up here. Then we're going up this big hill, water up there, lots of it. Look down here, river, big wide channels, funneling, directing water down here, creating energy. There's electricity, whatever, using working with Mother Nature. There's an idea. Maybe harder to tax and screw people to the 9 to 5 consumerism slave system that way. Perhaps could be an incentive in not doing that, or it could just be inheritors, fumbling their way, and maybe saying it's necessarily malevolent, might just be, how would you know? What would you do? When you inherit it, maybe it no longer works. Maybe you don't know what it is. You're just like, it's weird. Let's put some olive trees on it. I don't know. I think it was part of a system that, along those lines. I feel it now. Taking a moment. I've had a few moments. It's not just, Anyhow, thank you. You look around the torrents, like where I'm saying that, where I'm going to pull that picture out, where the water is shooting that high up. It's unmistakable what it is. It's the reflection of the water. It's unmistakable. You can't. It's obvious. It's anything. The torrents, all near the city, and actually the whole way down to down the port, it's all man-made banks, and what would be the edge of considered possible Starfort type maybe structures. It's very geometric. It's like it doesn't just it kind of looks like it's curving its way through like a natural river, because it's using that, but whole lots of it are quite man-made banks. There's been a lot of directing of water that was already in place, is my assertion, and it was in place and no doubt used in, well, I suspect. Tell me what else these are for. Tell me what these are for. There's half a dozen of these. The tops of each of what I'm considering the roots. It could have been like pyramid structures. That's the thing. I'm talking. There's a tree a long time ago before it turned to stone. There's clearly caves underneath. There's whole caves all over there. The mustard is coming out. I mean, it's all. What happens with trees? You end up with hollows, don't you? That's what the reservoir is. But that's what these are, I think. That makes the most sense. Because they're certainly not fire tracks. Well, it might be now. We've got an excess of them. Spoilt for them. it can fit actual 2, 3 fire trucks abreast, or at least 2. You know, fire trucks you get a full drive just to fit through. That's, you know, that's what you normally see, because they're for emergencies if there's a fire. You know? Now, this is part of the infrastructure that once was. Yeah. Once was water related energy. I think. Oh, that's my stomach. I am actually quite hungry. I was in there for a lot longer than I planned. Oh yeah, shapey vehicle up top. Yeah. Sure create a lot of energy with directing torrents of water, like an awesome fountain waterfall situation, controlled down here, you know, and you got a number of them, so you're firing it up, boom, boom, boom. It's just like, it's, you know, cylinders, effectively, right? It's perfect. It's perfect. It's a perfect natural terrain to work with, to harvest energy, isn't it? Hey, parakeets. Yeah, you know.